And I want to talk about how screen times can affect a child development and how it can affect a child within the future. So one of the current event that I wanted to do, or that personally touched me, is how screen time has affected my social skills, my personal skills, my fine motor skills, my problem solving skills, and how my communication has been affected. So currently, me personally, I have ADHD. So this personally has affected me with just having screen time, even not even as like a toddler. As a toddler, I used to go outside a lot, used to be very energetic, and I used to do a lot more active things. But as time went on, and as technology got more accessible for people in lower income areas, it was a good distraction for a moment until it wasn't. It was more of something that you would rely on to keep your kid busy. And this is what I wanted to talk about. The study that was recently done for CNN has a case study of 7,097 kids that was published from Jamad Pediatrics. My apologies for my stutter. Something that I thought that was interesting was how, when I started using like technology, how I couldn't talk as well as I used to. So I would rely a lot more on, like, I was ADHD, so I already had issues with like reading and understanding things, and just adding to it, because I had the screen for a lot more time. It made it much harder for me to communicate with people, and that's me personally talking about it, because screens had, like, I already had a short attention span. So like Vine, when I was like younger, it was Vine or like TikTok, like Musically, or like YouTube, that would hold my attention for a long time, but it wouldn't have me learning anything. So it ended up hurting my developmental skills, so I couldn't talk as well. So I want to go back to the article for a sec, and the beginning of the article, or the second paragraph of the article, says having anywhere from 1 to 4 hours of screen time per day at the age of 1 is linked to having a higher risk of developmental delays in communication, fine motor skills, problem solving, and personal and social developmental skills by the age of 2. This was done on a study of 7,000 kids, by the way, that were researched for almost upwards of like years of their life, to see how this affects them. So I wanted to also go back and also make the statement from the CNN post, which was those who spend 4 or more hours on with their screen are 4.78 times more likely to have underdeveloped communication skills, 1.74 times more likely to have subpar fine motor skills, and 2 times more likely to have underdeveloped personal and social skills by the age of 2. By the age of 4, risk remains only in communication and problem solving categories. These categories are important because these are the first skills that you learn when you first are born. These skills are important because this helps you develop who you are and your personality as you go along and grow up into your personality, your likes, your dislikes, and what you will do in certain situations, such as if someone tells you not to touch the stove and you touch the stove, that's you learning things. But if somebody says don't touch the stove and you look up on the computer and it says it's fine, that could also you learn the hard way. You now have 2 things that are telling you like you shouldn't have touched the stove, or like one could just be misleading you, because you also can't tell at that very young age. Well, you might be able to, but most times you're not able to tell the difference between what is not really just fact, but fiction. Something that I think that would assist in this is like not allowing your children to have tablets unless they are ready for it. Because if they're not ready to have the tablet, this could also, as I said, can affect their developmental skills and communication skills into teenagehood and adulthood. This could affect their attention span. My apologies. Their attention span, because even if you try and help them regain the attention span, it's much harder for them to even communicate what was the issue. This also could affect emotional regulation. This could affect how you see people and how this could affect you just generally understanding other people around and make you have a misconception of what reality is. So I just wanted to, that's some of my ideas kind of on how we could help children instead of not really harm them, but use technology. I also think like having those apps, those parental apps, where the child doesn't have more than like maybe 30 minutes or like up to, if a parent so chooses, to an hour of screen time, so they can do other things and enrich their minds, so their understanding of the things around them is based in reality and not into this fictional thing, which is this little box that they've had since they were one. I also just don't think that you should have a tablet for a 1-year-old. I think that's also just something that we should probably not do. I think we should have those not just STEM toys. We should also have enrichment rooms. We should also have them like understanding reading. Cause my own personal mom and dad had me in Head Start, which had nothing to do with technology. It was more of like Head Start was with a bunch of kids. This was like preschool, so we were able to understand each other in that instance, and I had my social skills, and I was able to become friendly, and I was able to have much more problem solving skills. I think Head Start should be available for every family. I feel like that shouldn't be barred behind if you can pay for it or not. I think that should be available for every family. So that's my take on that. I will also be putting the link of the article within the description, but thank you so much for your time.